Hey, this is Parker, back with an Atlanta real estate market update for September 2024. Let's dive right in. All right, let's see what's happening in Atlanta. Right now, the median sales price in Atlanta is $425,000, and the average sales price is $517,000. I greatly prefer to look at the median sales price, $425,000. That means that half of the homes in Atlanta, and that's a lot of homes, half the homes in Atlanta are selling for under $425,000. It just gives you a much better perspective on the market, gives you a much better perspective of your individual buying power in the Atlanta market. The problem with averages, we have a lot of luxury homes, multi-million-dollar homes, and if those close in July or August, they skew the average way up relative to the median. So median is just a much better metric for a home buyer. Right now, we're seeing about 6% increase in prices year over year. So the average monthly increase in Atlanta home prices, right around 6%. The interesting thing is when you look at August's median sales price, $425,000, it was actually the exact same price in August of 2023. That means that there was really no increase in the median sales price year over year if you shopped in August. So if you shopped in August, you were basically paying 2023 prices. Kind of cool. So you can look at it two ways. You either saved 6% on the purchase of that home, or really the better way to look at it is sort of like 6% instant equity. If you turned around and sold that house in the spring, you'd probably make at least 6% on it. So if you like what we're doing on this channel, please hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up. Really helps the channel. Thank you. So back to that average monthly increase in Atlanta home prices, 6%. I get people asking me, how is it that we have these very high interest rates, which obviously takes a lot of buyer demand out of the market? How is it that we still have these, pretty significant year over year increases in Atlanta home prices? Well, we're talking about interest rates. You're talking about the demand side. So we've taken the demand way down. What we really need to do is talk about the supply side. Those are the two things, obviously, that affect home prices. So let's take a look at the supply side. Good news, Atlanta's new listings, when we talk about new listings, we're talking about a home being put on the market for sale. Atlanta's new listings are up almost 8,400 more homes were listed this year than in 2023. Now, the bad news is that last year, we saw a huge miss in home listings. In fact, over 14,500 fewer homes listed in 2023 than in 2022. So that's the bad news. We're making up some ground this year, but we've obviously took a big slide last year. This is actually part of a larger trend. It'd be one thing if this was a one-off. That would certainly affect prices in Atlanta, but this is actually part of a larger trend that's been going on for about 5 years now. So let me show you that. If we look at new listings by year, the top line is 2019. We had almost 108,000 houses listed in Metro Atlanta that year. So that's our baseline. That being the year before COVID is really kind of the last normal year in Atlanta real estate. When you look at the rest of these numbers, that last column where you see all those red numbers, that's the percentage change from 2019. So you can see 2020 was down 11%, 12%, 17%, and then 2023, we were down 30%. That's the number I showed you from last year. We're down literally almost a third of inventory in 1 year from our baseline of 2019. And then you can see on the bottom, 2024 is on pace for about an 18% miss relative to 2019. So let me show you that in actual numbers to give you a better perspective. So on average, 18,000 fewer homes are hitting the market every year in Atlanta compared to 2019. And that's happened year after year after year. You add that all up, That means we've had 90,000 homes missing from the Atlanta market since 2019. So if you want to know why prices keep going up in Atlanta, just almost automatically, that's it. We've had a lot of buyer demand taken out of the market because of the high interest rates. The problem is that there's no houses. So what's the explanation? Why are there no houses coming on the market? Why have 90,000 fewer houses been made available since the baseline of 2019? Well, it has a lot to do with interest rates. You may have heard this term, the lock-in effect. And what that essentially means is that a homeowner has a very low interest rate and it's kind of locked them into their home, because if, for example, I've got an interest rate that's 3.5% and I'm looking at selling my house and buying a new house, even if I've got a pretty decent chunk of equity, the fact that I have to go out and originate a new mortgage at double my current interest rate, it's going to cause a lot of problems for me. And that is, in fact, what's going on. 68% of homeowners in America have an interest rate under 4%. If you talk to a mortgage professional, they'll tell you that 2020 COVID year, they spent most of that year simply doing refinances. If you remember, we had ultra low interest rates, some down as low as 3%, because the government was trying to stimulate the economy. They shut the economy down and then they were trying to stimulate the economy at the same time. So they came up with this boneheaded idea to just drive interest rates into the dirt. And frankly, everybody went out and refinanced their mortgage, got down below 4%. Now all those people, they might have way too much house. They might actually want to shed some of that house, downsize. The problem is they'll downsize, their house will get smaller, but their mortgage will get bigger. So that's a real problem right now. And it's going to be a long time getting it unstuck. If you're interested in learning more about the in-town Atlanta real estate market, including all these great neighborhoods around Emory University, Decatur, Virginia Highlands, Brookhaven, Avondale Estates, look in the description box below. We have a playlist of very highly detailed videos and neighborhood spotlight on each of these communities and many more. It's going to give you all the details you need to know so you can plan your move to Atlanta. So we've got all these homeowners kind of locked into their houses by their super low interest rates. What do we need to happen to kind of unstick this logjam? So I just talked to one of my mortgage guys, Chad, and he said he quoted a client a 5.99% interest rate. And I said, wow, when was the last time you quoted somebody under 6%? And he said, yeah, it's been about 2 years. We're getting some movement downward on the interest rates. It's theoretically going to make houses more affordable, but unfortunately what's going to happen is it is going to bring people back into the market, so it's going to increase demand for an already small pool of houses. Now, the bright side is if we can get down to the 5.5%, 5.25% range, it is going to bring demand back into the market, which should theoretically drive up prices. But at the same time, it should theoretically unstick a lot of this frozen inventory. And when you see, we're 90,000 houses short of where we should be in a normal market, that's really what's going to move the needle, is supply, supply, supply. So although normally interest rates dropping going to bring buyers back into the market, push up demand and push up prices, in this instance, it could work to get a lot of this inventory unstuck and flowing back out into the market. And as Yogi Berra once said, predictions are hard, especially about the future. So we'll just have to wait and see. So as always, if you're thinking of buying in Atlanta or maybe purchasing an investment property in Atlanta, feel free to reach out to me. I love to talk to people. My contact information is in the box below. Always love to talk to people. Always love to help them plan their move to or investment in Atlanta, Georgia. Thanks for watching.